any final reflections? I mean, we touched upon a lot of stuff, so it's hard to sort of summarize it, but are there any reflections you would like to just share with the audience? Because we can imagine that there are very many younger people listening who would love to have the same career as you have. Is there any final thoughts to wrap this episode up with?
I mean, yeah, it's been a really interesting conversation. I would say, I would say for young people, I think one tendency I have when I'm back in Norway, like I am now, is that I will meet people, and if the conversation comes up that I live in New York, people tend to say, "Oh, I've always had a dream about doing that," or and then they sort of say it in a way that that's not going to happen. Like that's a dream that I'm not going to follow. And I think for me, speaking about my background, that we were, following dreams was just something that came from, my mother's milk. There wasn't any other question. And I think people tend to set limitations that are made up fictional limitations to themselves. And I think you need to always try to ask the questions like, is this actual limitations that I have? Or is it limitations that I'm just creating because I'm scared to do the things I want to do? So I'm trying to like make excuses for myself. So I think challenging yourself to try to, challenge yourself to not be scared, and say that the downside, especially if you're a young Norwegian, the downside of moving somewhere is zero. It is absolutely zero. There's only upside to adding multiple dimensions to your life, learning who you are. Somewhere and you fail completely, the learnings you do as a person, the growth that you have as a person, is worth some money that you might have, lost during that period. I think that's one thing. For older people, I would also say, I think one mentality that I've gotten from living in New York is nothing is ever too late. Like changing things up is never too late. I go to ballet every Thursday, and most of the people I have ballet classes with are, women around my own age. But then I have this 70-year-old guy who is always there, and he's, decked out in proper ballet outfit, and he's there every Thursday, and he's, magnificent. And that he sort of encapsulate what I think, he's not weird. No one looks at him strange. Every Thursday he does this, and he's a retired man. So why shouldn't he? So I think not thinking that things are too late, not thinking you've missed the boat. I think one quote that I saw in an Indian movie was that sometimes the wrong train will get you to the right station, is such a kind of heartwarming thing to say, that despite, all these different routes that you're taking, like eventually everything in retrospect led you to the person that you were supposed to be, career-wise or personality-wise, or who you were supposed to be. But do not put limitations on yourself. That is the only person that's going to hurt is yourself.